Hello, my name is Ashley Walensky Norton. Today we will discuss preparing for a position in higher education, the similarities and differences, as well as important points to consider and questions to ponder after reading multiple manuscripts on the topic will be discussed as we navigate these steps. The first step to begin as you embark on this journey of preparing for a position in higher education is to do some initial research. Consider the type of doctoral program you may be interested in attending. Full and part-time programs offer options for time management and funding. Some programs vary in length and requirements, as well as the funding opportunities for graduate students. It is important to also reach the universities, departments, and potential research interests to look for alignment. You may want to consider the following steps from McCormick and Barnes in 2007, which are broken down into the helpful acronym of doctoral. D stands for decide on your interests, then reflect on your desired O outcomes. Next, C, consider a mentor. T stands for take time to prepare. Look broadly for O, opportunities. R stands for research funding possibilities. A, ask questions. And lastly, L, look at the requirements. In addition, when researching, it is important to also consider McCormick and Barnes' 2007 advice that you will need to have courage to believe you belong in higher education as it is challenging but attainable. Mason Williams and Washburn Moses in 2016 did note that on average it takes 5 years full-time to complete a doctoral degree. When preparing for a position in higher education, it is also important to consider the interpersonal relationships you will need to form. So much of the work in a doctoral program and higher education is based on working with others and collaborating in various manners. One tip for success is to establish a mentor early on. This person, or even multiple people, will help to guide you through the different phases you will enter from your time as a doctoral student and even when you begin your first position after completing your degree. Collegial relationships will also be of importance. You will want to look for others who you can collaborate with to gain experience, those who have similar research interests or are willing to allow you to collaborate and co-author on work they are completing, and those who you can join to do joint research, writing, and share interests with. You will also want to find a strong peer group, whether this is other doctoral students or even fellow early year faculty. Once you join the workforce, these individuals will provide a supportive cohort. You may also be interested in building relationships to help you meet your service requirements. Whether this is through mentoring, advising a graduate student or students, or working with a student organization, it can be beneficial for all. It is important to consider McCormick and Barnes' 2007 advice to ask for a mentor or peer about the performance review process at the university immediately so you can begin to prepare for that from the start of your program or career. In preparing for a position in higher education, you need to consider the challenges which may arise. Different universities present differences in culture and politics for both doctoral students and early career faculty. Navigating those policies and politics as you begin your time there is important to consider. Try to balance those early year pressures, time management, and the need to write, teach, and complete service. It is important to consider McCormick and Barnes' 2007 advice that change is stressful. It is fine to feel that stress and work through those challenges. In addition, they share that it is important to go through a socialization process so you can learn how to prosper at the university. Mason Williams and Washburn Moses in 2016 echo those sentiments, sharing that individuals must find the inspiration they need to keep going. They also shared doctoral students may need to consider their flexibility in living arrangements, as faculty who are willing to relocate were 9 times more likely to find a faculty position. A major component of a position in higher education is the research and publications which are required of faculty. It is important to develop your research agenda based off your interests as you will be spending so much of your time dedicated to this. You must always make it a goal to be writing as well. Ortlieb, Bidix, and Doepker, 2010, shared the need to write daily, always being focused on multiple projects or your next piece of writing, working with others to co-author and research together so you can meet the goals of publishing and disseminating your work. This push to research and publish is a fundamental part of a position in higher education, but it's important to consider the differences in institution expectation. Research 1 institutes versus Research 2 schools will expect and place a greater emphasis on research compared to teaching. In addition, grants you can get funded through your research and writing will also be important aspects of your role in higher education to consider. The other components besides research and publication in your role in higher education will be the teaching and service components of your career. When teaching, McCormick and Barnes, 2007, shared the need to consider that the courses and load or amount of courses you will teach may vary by institution and additional responsibilities. You will want to start your courses by creating a syllabus with a semester calendar to follow. They also recommended using consistency through rubrics, assignment descriptions, and sticking to the plan you initially set forth in your syllabus and calendar. When teaching, always consider how you might revise the work you are doing with students, the relationships you can build with your students, and reflect back on the growth you can make from semester to semester per McCormick and Barnes in 2007. Additionally, they suggested you consider how you can build your service becoming a good academic citizen. Remember, you want to give back as a way to expand your profession. You can do this through advising and mentoring others or through committees and organizations within your university, registered student organizations, and through outside memberships and groups. In summary, many of the manuscripts reviewed and the authors offered similar advice for preparing for a position in higher education. As discussed, the main components include seeking a mentor, maintaining a strong research agenda to disseminate publications about, reflecting, preparing for challenges, and seeking out others to collaborate with. Additional suggestions the authors had included the need for reflecting critically as you go through the doctoral process and creating collegial collaboration as a key to success per Ortlieb, Bidix, and Doepker, 2010. McCormick and Barnes, 2007, also suggested gaining a greater sense of the institution prior to beginning there, encouraging supporting mentees or advising grad students as a form of service, and suggest that you seek opportunities for grant funding. Mason Williams and Washburn Moses, 2016, also shared in the doctoral acronym the need to think about the different outcomes you may consider after getting a doctoral degree, including becoming a professor or an administrator, taking the time to prepare for different opportunities to come, agreed to the need to research funding opportunities for payment of your doctoral program, and urged others to really look at the requirements of becoming a doctoral student initially. Lastly, the Career Lab offered suggestions on how to prepare for a position in higher education after completing your doctoral degree, including preparing a CV, cover letter, and gathering recommendation letters. Career Lab also suggested having a strong dissertation abstract and multiple writing samples to share at prospective interviews. Lastly, I was left with a few questions to ponder and additional research to complete. According to McCormick and Barnes, 2007, the Carnegie classification taxonomy can help to identify differences in universities as you prepare for a position in higher education. I am also still pondering how this exactly works and to figure out the right university for you. I know university visits and interviews will help to determine this as the time comes. I am also interested in the academic integration Mason Williams and Washburn Mosen's 2016 spoke to as being the single most important factor for the doctoral program. Lastly, I think I will continue to ponder the balancing act of a position in higher education, a doctoral program, and all of life's other responsibilities that are thrown at us.